Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin was the next match. And, of course, this was in the continuing saga of Dante Martin being managed or mismanaged by Leo Rush, and what are Leo Rush's intentions toward Dante, and Matt Sydal's trying to block Dante at the start from talking to Leo, or Leo from talking to Dante, but they started out, I wrote, hey, they're wrestling. I saw an arm drag. They just won a couple of minutes at the start of the thing, and they were wrestling. People were kind of dead, as the email mentioned, and whatever, it's just a couple of minutes, and they went to the break. And Dante Martin did a couple of things, but coming back from the break, it got a lot better. But Dante Martin is like the bus driver they find on a talent show that sings opera like Pavarotti. He does incredibly athletic stuff, and he's got the hang time, and he's got the balance and the just the entire athletic ability, but he doesn't look like he should be able to do any of that. And body-wise, he's got to work on, Bobby Eaton had no visible muscles, but he had a little beef to him. He had some tone. You don't have to be a bodybuilder, but he's just got to work on some kind of the upper body. And
he's still young.
He's still young. He's only 20 years old. That's why I say he's a puppy with big paws, and he needs to fill out. He's got to work on his facials, but later on in the match, when he really started getting fired up and had some adrenaline, he had some facials, but he looks like Mr. Mope around a lot, especially in the interviews, and he's got to brighten up on that, but he can do shit. And this is the kind of guy, number one, because when he does a missile drop kick, he jumps higher off the top. When he does the moonsault, he goes higher. When he does a dive over the top, it's more graceful. That's why he should be one of the only ones in the company allowed to do some of these things, because then it would stand out even more, and he's the best at it. So when you see that and you decide you're going to fucking do something with a guy like this, then you keep 2 or 3 of those things that would be sacrosanct, and nobody else does it, but that's never going to happen in this company. Everybody does everybody's shit, and everybody does everything over and over, but it would make it more special. And there's also, this is the kind of guy, because of his face, to be honest, in the territories, he could have not only gotten 2 or 3 years of experience before almost anybody ever saw him, which, as we've mentioned on shows recently, is impossible now. Anybody that's got a good bone in their body, you see him around the world now. But if he could have gotten 2 or 3 years in the territories underneath experience, nobody's seen him really, then some booker takes chance on him, says, I'm going to put a mask on you and make you a spectacular baby face, and the kids are going to love you and the women are going to love you. And he'd have been fighting pussy off with a baseball bat, even with the mask. He would have, there's something special about him, but just he looks like a bus driver that sings like Pavarotti right now. So there's going to have to be some, and he's so green in this company, he's never going to learn. The hardest thing in wrestling now is learning the things that you shouldn't do. Because everybody used to teach you those before they taught you what you should do. And that's how everybody was on the same page and knew what the fuck they were doing. Now nobody teaches you what you shouldn't do, especially in this company. Where did Mark Quinn go, by the way? Speaking of spectacular baby faces that could have made $1 million with the right training and the proper cultivation.
Tony seems to cycle the mid-card and lower guys off TV. Like they're there, they're nonstop. You see them in everything, and then they're gone for a month, 2 months, and then they pop up again. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia being a great example. The Matt Hardy crew being another example. For a month, there'll be an undercard crew that'll be on every show, and then the next month it's some other crew. So I'm sure they'll be back. I'm sure Mark Quinn will be cycled back in.
You don't keep any momentum that way on anybody that you want to legitimately do anything with, or somebody that you want to grow for the future. They can't just disappear. It's the opposite of how can I miss you if you won't go away is where the fuck did you go when I was just starting to talk to you? Anyway, did you see the main event of this program?
I just want to add my last comment. I enjoyed that last match, and I enjoyed Lio Rush at ringside. And Lio Rush, as soon as he comes out onto that stage, you want to hit him. I mean, he's great. I think he's so great in this role. And again, Dante, I don't know, because he smiled on the ramp. And I was like, there it is. He smiles. I don't know if he's just miserable because his brother's not there and Leo and him have a weird on-screen relationship. So I don't know, but I think the long-term plan is probably to get him back in a tag team with his brother, not to be a single star. Although I will say, and I don't remember much about his brother, we only saw him a few times, but Dante, there are a lot of guys there who do high flying, and Ray Phoenix is pretty spectacular when he actually does stuff. Whether he hits it or not is another story. But Dante's spectacular at another level, and we've seen guys like Montez Ford and Mark Quinn who could jump really, really high. Dante jumps high, but it looks different. Yeah. It's almost like he floats on air at times. And I think he's really special, and in a sea of high flyers, he really stands out. So it'll be interesting to see, does the tag team help him or hurt him? That'll be interesting.
Well, and his brother's only, 2 years older than he is.
Yeah.
So it's not like that there's an experienced veteran leading the younger guy. If they do go back to the team, we'll see how that develops. But this guy clearly has something. You just got to channel it somehow.
Now, you asked me before about the main event, and I watched the promo to set up the main event, and then I had it on in the background, but I thought to myself, in order to watch this, I would have to be completely nuts, and not in the good way.
Well, I'm glad to know that we're going to get one of those in before that we have to talk about this, because no, in all seriousness, I might lose my appetite if I had to talk about the main event before we talk about this. We talk about Nuts.com being the best kept secret of savvy snackers around America.
Yeah.
And now new customers are going to get 10% off. Folks, the Nuts.com proclamations and endorsements and testimonials keep on flying in on Twitter, and you've seen them. As a matter of fact, Nuts.com, they have the great packaging, and they're so easy to take a picture of and tweet it out when you get your bag of nuts in. I've had a bunch of people tweet me pictures of their bags of nuts over the last several weeks, and I'll tell you what, some of these, I've never seen bags of nuts as big as some of these.
I heard Stan Lane had a whole photo album filled with.
As a matter of fact, he did. Of just actually, that was actually the opposite of bags of nuts. But nevertheless, if you want to tweet these pictures of your nuts, folks, do them and do it, and we'll retweet your nuts all across America.
Yournuts.com for the record.
Yes, yournuts.com. But it's not yournuts.com. It's just nuts.com. So
yournuts.com order.
Of your nuts from nuts.com. Yes.
Okay, we could say it that way.
Yes. Well, that's what I was trying to say, but you keep dragging us into the gutter. But anyway, the people that have been tweeting the pictures because they're so happy when they get these delicious foods and snacks and products and various sundries delivered to their home from nuts.com. They make the perfect gift. It's coming up on holiday times. You can get ahead of holiday gifting. They've got customizable trays and a wide assortment of gifting options delivered in beautiful baskets. Nutritious, delicious, healthy nuts, dried flutes right next to that bag of nuts. Flours, grains, and so many other high-quality foods, raw, organic, roasted, salted, and candied nuts.
I understand Stan Lane has an album of photos of dried flutes as well.
No, but I'll tell you what, he was a seafood aficionado. You should have seen the Polaroids of those clams. You got the white chocolate toffee cashews. You got the honey sesame sticks, the dried mangoes from Nuts.com, not Stan Lane's photo album, folks. Nuts.com delivers fresher products than the supermarket. If you want to be like the Fink, good old Howard Finkel, he loved to nosh. Well, you can nosh on this stuff all day long. Delivery is fast. Most orders Ship the same day you order them. You'll get them the next day. As we said, fresh as the morning dew. They've even got baking mixes and pasta and pantry items. Go to nuts.com and check out all the fine products. They've got over 4,000 products to choose from. And if you're a new nuts.com customer, if you're getting your hands on nuts for the very first time, then get 10% off your first order when you text EXPERIENCE. That's my show. EXPERIENCE to 64,000. That's EXPERIENCE to 64,000 to get 10% off your first order from nuts.com. And then we'll talk about the Clams Casino from Baltimore's Sabatinos. Terms apply. Available at nuts.com/terms.